And dolls, welcome back. I am really excited about today's tutorial. I saw on the Makeup Geek page that this girl did this beautiful like mustard and mint makeup look, and I was like, oh my god. I went to her Instagram itself. It's Makeup by Carissa. She lists all the shadows that she used, and I was like, oh my god, I have all of those shadows. And I was so inspired by this look. The color combination is so unique. You don't see mustard and mint together too very often. So I decided to use all the same products that she used. There's no tutorial for this look as far as I know, so I just sort of went by what I think she may have done and what I wanted to do using those colors. So my look is slightly different. She has more of like an elongated shape. I have mine a little bit shorter because it just suits me better. And overall, I am so excited about this look. I also switched up the lip, which ironically I did have the lip that she used. It's Noisette from Jouer, but I decided to use Tansy from Colourpop because this is one of my favorite lipsticks, and I don't feel like I have enough opportunities to wear it. It kind of goes with a lot of different things, but there are certain things where it can really shine, and this is definitely a look. So if you have Tansy and you've been dying to use it in a look, this is awesome. Getting started today with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. This is nothing new or exciting or anything. Something that is new that I've been doing lately is taking a finely milled powder like this one from Makeup Forever and applying that over the primer. I feel like it just sets it in place and it makes everything super blendable. Even when I'm using shadows today, like all my shadows are Makeup Geek and they're fantastic and amazing and they really don't need the help. I'm just sort of trying to make it a habit to set the primer. It's also really helpful for people who have extremely oily eyelids that still kind of have issues with creasing. By setting that primer with a base powder, it just makes it so that there's just more there for the oil to absorb into, and so you're not going to get as much creasing. So I at first left this sort of open-ended. At first I used Preppy, now I'm using Desert Sands. Preppy being a little bit deeper and a little bit more green tone, Desert Sands being a little bit more mustard type of a color. And I'm leaving the shape open-ended, but I decided that I wanted to kind of reel it in, so I used a clean brush to back comb and kind of fluff out the edge there so I didn't have as much of an obvious wing out. There I'm using Dirty Martini in the deep crease to add a bit of depth, and I'm using a flat brush to apply it, and then I'll go in with a blending brush to soften the edge. Really important for creating the right placement of the product. Speaking of placement, I'm now using a flat filbert brush to put on Paint on the Paint Pot, my favorite ever. It's so great. Look at how beautifully that blocked out that lower lid. Love it. So now I'm taking Fantasy foiled eyeshadow from Makeup Geek, which is fantastic. And you'll notice I have to dip into my brush multiple times. And it's not so much that the shadow's not pigmented. I mean, you can see it's like bam, but it almost like sticks onto the skin like Velcro or something. I don't know how to explain it, but it has like a lot of good grip to it while also looking wet. I love the foiled eyeshadows. Now I'm using Enchanted, also from Makeup Geek, and this one's more of like a forest green. It's great for adding that little bit of depth to the lower part. So you can see I'm using cooler toned greens on the lid, warmer colors in the crease. They end up working together. This is a little bit more of Dirty Martini on a pointed brush from Smith, which is great for mapping out the crease. And here I'm taking Lemon Drop from Makeup Geek, which is a little bit shimmerier of an eyeshadow, so I'm using it sparingly to make sure that that outer edge is nice and yellow. For my liner today, I'm using Urban Decay Fine Point Liner in Perversion. This stuff's great. It gives you such a precise line, and lately I haven't really been favoring like extreme winged liner. I have been liking this sort of subtle, just a hint of black at the lash line. It helps to, hide any kind of lash band if you are applying false lashes, and it makes your natural lash line look thicker. So eyeliner for me is definitely necessary, but as somebody with hooded lids, I don't like to do big, thick, washes of black or anything because it makes my eyes look smaller. So now I'm using a yellow tinted cream color. This one happens to be from Too Faced. Something like this is important to get the tone right, because if I were to use like a pink based cream highlight, it would look really weird and kind of throw the look off. So here I'm using the Smashbox Primer. Great stuff. Good pore minimization and smoothing out, and it really does make my foundation last a lot longer. This is the Makeup Forever Stick Foundation. I used 2 different colors to get my custom match. Hot. So to blend that in, I'm using an Hourglass brush. I've also tried this with a beauty blender and liked the results either way. It's one of those foundations that just looks damn good. Super full coverage, beautiful texture, makes the skin look really soft, and this is definitely one of my favorite full coverage foundations at the moment. For concealer, I'm using the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. This stuff, again, has great coverage, great texture. I'm so cute when I put on my concealer. It has great coverage. In the outer bits of my face, I'm using the Radiant Rose highlighter from MAC. It has a pink tint to it, which helps to color correct some of the sallowness I get in my outer area, which cannot be helped apparently, because I've tried with skincare and everything else. It's just the way my face is. So I am blending that all out with a brush from Sigma, which is similar to the Inglot brush that I often will use, but this one's a bit denser, so it actually pushes the product around a little bit better. In this case, I applied too much concealer, so I ended up having to bring a secondary brush in to continue to blend that out because there was just way too much on the brush. I don't know what I was thinking. I was getting really into putting it on. I was like, concealer! Oh wait, that's too much. Next, I set that with my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder under my eyes. This is a fabulous product. I've been using this for over a decade. It's just so fabulous. I'm at loss for words, especially since we have to move on and talk about other stuff. I use the Kat Von D powder all over my face. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the Kat Von D one, so that's kind of where I've got to leave it. And then I used a variety of brow products from Makeup Forever. They just launched all these new brow products, and I was kind of just playing around with them. This is a brow liner. It's kind of cool. Like the effect that you can get from it. It's like an eyeliner, but for your brows. And they have this great tinted brow gel that has a really cool shape to the wand. I don't know if you caught it there, but it's sort of bigger on one side than on the other. Then for my inner rim, I'm using a Milani liner, just a black twist-up waterproof liner. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. I am sorry, but black liner is black liner. If it worked for you, it's fine. Now I'm taking Dirty Martini underneath my lash line just to smoke out that black liner. I really like this look lately of doing black in the inner rim. I then took a little bit of Desert Sands as well, but honestly I'm going to cover this up with glitter, so whatever. Now I'm taking, I think it's called Thunderstruck from Kat Von D. Love this. It's such a beautiful peachy white gold. Just, I love it. I love it. It's so pretty on the inner quarter. And using a teeny tiny brush gives you that precise application that you're looking for. And then a little squeeze with my rose gold eyelash torture device. Little false lashes. These are from Violet Voss. I will have them linked in the description bar down below. Beautiful. Only had to cut them down slightly, and they looked fabulous for this look. Little mascara on both my naturals and a tiny bit on my falsies just to blend them together. And now for some real fun, I'm going to be taking the Urban Decay Vice Special Effects Top Coat. These are intended for the lips. I have experimented a bit with using them on the eyes with pretty good results, especially this color Fever. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So you can see there a little bit of that duochrome come out right there at the outer corner of my eye where I just applied it. It's so beautiful. It stays in place. It dries down and set, and that's something I'm not sure if I made clear in the other videos where I've talked about this. It sets down to a budge-proof, smudge-proof finish. You can touch it and it won't budge, which makes it really kind of perfect for something like this. So now before it sets, I'm taking a Q-tip just to sort of blend out the edges and make sure it looks super soft, and I am so impressed with the way that that ended up looking. Little mascara on the bottom lashes as well, always important and really helps to highlight the glitter. So now I'm using the Lunatik Cosmetics contour palette, which is just completely so valuable to me. Like, this is such an important part of my makeup routine because I have everything I need in terms of cheeks. Like, I have contour, I have blush. I'm using one of the more like terracotta-like colors and mixing them together with one of the highlights in the palette to sort of soften it out so it's not too crazy. So even still, I go slow at first. I'm like barely tickling it on, and then I'm like, nope, I like it. And then I went hardcore and put it on. For highlight, I'm using my Hourglass palette. I'm not sure. I think they still sell this palette. If not, I think you can buy the colors individually. I love how their highlights are beautiful and soft and give you a glow, but they're not like a little too much. So with a look like this where you have colors that are somewhat unusual, it's nice to kind of reel it in with something that's a little more grounded, but still have that, you know, beautiful shine on your cheeks. So now I am using Tansy. This is one of the Ultra Satin lip colors from Colourpop. I love this lipstick. Again, it's somewhat unusual, kind of a bricky brown color, not something that I would have gravitated towards, you know, a couple years ago, but I find it incredibly flattering, and
Has a lot of the same effect of like a red without actually being red.
I just realized that I forgot to do my little freckle fill. Today I'm going to be using a Urban Decay Razor Sharp in Snakebite, which is a nice bronzy color. I thought it would go really good with the color combo that we have. Press that on top of my existing freckle, like that. Something that's still really small. It still definitely calls attention to it and adds it as a little beauty mark. So here we have the completed look. I'm trying to pull my little green bits of hair out so you can see them. Look, it is green somewhere. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I love the kind of witchy vibe that it gives. This is totally my aesthetic. When I saw this, I was like, why have I never paired mustard and mint before? This has to be my new favorite thing. So thank you again to Makeup by Carissa for sharing this amazing look. And thank you to Makeup Geek for sharing her page, because that's how I found it. And I would like to invite all of you to follow me on Instagram. Make sure you're part of my notification squad, both here and on Instagram. And I will see you guys in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky. Just be your own kind of beautiful. See you, bye.